Alright, this is a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner. Basically it's a B body. We're putting a manual clutch setup in here, so you got to change the brake pedal out and the clutch pedal. Added the clutch pedal. So this is the new brake pedal. It's got a smaller pad. This is the clutch pedal. See, it's got roughly the same size pad. And then you got to put the shaft in. So this car is originally an automatic, so we're converting it over to a manual shift. And this is a nice tight area, so, you know, it's best to get on your back and have sufficient light mounted up there so you can see what you're doing. All right, so first thing we're going to put our new brake pedal in. Make sure you got bushings on both sides. And what I find that works best for me is put the pedal up in there, get the master cylinder brake rod through the hole first. So work it up there. I don't know if you can all see this on the camera or not. Takes a little bit of finagling. But just don't give up and it will go together. Alright, so I got that in there. Now I can go ahead and slide that up in there, making sure that the bushings stay in place. Get that up close to the hole where it's going to go. Be careful of your brake light switch so you don't mash that trying to force it up in there. And the next thing that's going to go is the rod. This rod's threaded on one end. There's going to be a nut going on the end of this. But the best thing I find to get it through the hole, sometimes it just won't push in like you want it to. It's got a little flat edge on one other side, so if you need to put a wrench on it, you can, but just kind of turn it in and it'll find its home. So put it in there. Press the brake light switch so you can get the height you need. Find the hole in the pedal bracket. And line that up with the brake pedal all the way through. This is where it helps turn. You pretty much turn it all the way till it stops. So you really can't turn it no more by hand. If it keeps turning, you probably got it all the way in and went in nice and easy. But we're going to count the threads and count the turns. And then you stop seeing it pull itself in. Alright, so after we got the shaft in, we got to put this nut on. It's a nylock, self-locking nut. So we're going to start by hand on the end of that shaft that holds the pedal assembly. The pedals rotate on, pivot on. Okay, so now I'm going to hold the end of this shaft here. I can put a 7/16 wrench on the end of that shaft, so just kind of hold it still. So this nut right here is the very end of that. So whenever you're doing one of these, I'll show you here. This is just the assembly part. And I'll kind of explain what comes off when you're taking everything apart. So kind of what we're doing here, we're kind of working in reverse of the disassembly portion. Okay. All right. when you're taking these apart, you'll notice there's a bracket like this. And that's what these two studs here for. This right here all ties all three of these together. Okay, like so. So you'll find and see that up there when you're taking things apart. So again, this is just in reverse of the disassembly. So you gotta take this bracket out to get access to that nut that's back behind it for the end of the old shaft. This little thing right here, this little bracket right here, just helps to support this cable here. Yeah. So now we are done with this side. All right, now I'm gonna put the clutch pedal in. And all you gotta do with the clutch pedal, since the shaft's already here, it's already installed, nice and tight. Take the clutch pedal, put it on the shaft, just slide her on. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is, see this little rubber pad right here my thumb is on? There, that comes in a kit, and all you got, there's a little hole there already, so all you do is push it up in there, and what that is, that's a stopper for the clutch pedal when it comes back. You need to take your foot off it, so it's not hitting metal to metal. Okay, so now that's on, the next step is there's a bracket. This gets real confusing sometimes. But before we put this bracket on, I'll explain this. See this box down here? This is your little air vent box. This air vent box is held up by 3 studs up in the top. Up here, 3 studs. You may not be able to see them on the camera, but it holds it up there. You got to get this out of the way. You know, it's this little, small little metal stamp nuts that are holding on there, so they ain't nothing severe. And it just comes down, so you just gotta let that come down out of your way so it can work. You don't need to undo the cable. Leave the cable alone. Just less stuff you have to worry about. Otherwise you start making too much work for yourself. So anyways, back to the bracket here. And you'll see why the box has to be removed, because if this box is in here, you cannot get this shaft in there, because the box comes like right here where my hand's at. So it just does not allow any room to get it in there. So anyways, again, back to the bracket. So the bracket here has 2 holes, one here and one down here. It's also got a 3rd hole right here. This 3rd hole right here lines up to a threaded hole that's up here on the pedal bracket. This hole right here is the hole that the shaft is going. You're going to fit this hole over this shaft, the pedal shaft. Since this part is powder coated and the tolerances on this hole match the OD of the shaft, the powder coat builds up a layer inside this hole here, and it allows you to have it trying to get over that shaft, make it really tight. So you just take a little reamer, ream the inside of that hole out just to knock that powder coat off the inside, and it'll fit on there with no problem at all. And the other 2 holes back here, and the firewall, normally this one's already got the holes in there, but normally there'll be like little nipples in the firewall where that hole is at, and the other one up there, be a nipple on each one. So it should line you up. If there's not any nipples there in the firewall, just put the piece up there. So, get it in there real quick and show you all. Let's work it on there. Okay. Anyways, you put it on there and put 1 bolt in so you know your alignment is pretty good, because that's what that other hole's for, that elongated hole. So you can get it up in there and Sorry, my hand's in the way. Tight area. Just kind of thread it up in there. Then you can take a Sharpie and just mark your little spot or a paint pen, like a little spot here in the firewall. Make sure that's all the way level, flat. Just basically Sharpie and mark those 2 holes so you have a spot to drill the hole. So you're going to use, what I usually do is start off with a 1/8" bit. This is a little pilot hole. And then finish it off with 11/32. Because basically you're putting a 5/16 bolt in there. And once that's done, then you just put the bracket, take it off, drill your holes. Then you can put the bracket on, bolt it up. You want to run the 2 bolts on the firewall from the engine bay side. So you find yourself a buddy to hold those nuts in there for you. So you hold the bolts in for you, so you can put the nuts on the inside firewall part. Okay, just put those 2 bolts through the firewall there in the engine compartment. Have your partner just kind of hold those in place for you. All right, so I'm doing on the bottom one. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and tighten the bottom one up. All right, then we go to the top one. Tighten that one up. So that completes the install of the pedal assembly, minus the reinstallation of this box here. So just take the box. And you're going to fit it up around those 3 studs. And you're going to put these little nuts back on there. Hold that up in place. Okay, so there's the box back in there. You can see there's only so much room between that pin and that box. That's why that box has to come out. Because you got 3 studs that come down. One in the back, upper right of the box, one on the front right, and one on the front left. So just 3. That's all that holds that box up in place. So it's just a little vent box. If you have air conditioning in here, you might want to remove some ducking that's out of the way so you can get that. If it's in the way of that pin getting in there, you might want to remove. So, but that pretty much concludes the pedal install.